review. Hey guys, I'm going to talk today about jumping into homeschooling because a lot of people are being forced into homeschooling with the quarantine stuff. So I'm going to be talking about that in just a few minutes. I'll see if anybody else wants to hop on here. But yeah, so I know pretty much everybody is now being forced to homeschool, at least in my area, and I know a lot of other states are too. All the schools are closed down and they're doing e-learning, and I don't know what public schools are doing and private schools, but I know that there's a lot of that going around. So anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about just jumping into homeschooling. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to let you know first. The first thing I want people to know is that e-learning is not the same thing as homeschooling. A lot of people, I've heard this a lot, of people saying that, oh, we're having so much trouble with this e-learning, it's so hard, it's so much work, I could never homeschool. I've heard that a lot, and that is not at all true. E-learning is not the same thing as homeschooling. So if you are doing e-learning with your kids and you are struggling, oh, hi Betsy, you're struggling and you're thinking, I could never homeschool, then you should know that it's not the same thing. Homeschooling is way easier than e-learning because e-learning is following somebody else's lesson plans. The teacher made all the lesson plans and you're just trying to follow along, and you're jumping in the middle of the year and you don't know all the stuff your child has learned and all the things that they haven't learned, and you don't have it all, you don't have the background that you need to get it done. That's what e-learning is. Homeschooling is doing all the work with your child. You know what the lesson plans are leading towards. You know what they've learned already. You know what you're teaching them. It's so much easier because you are the one making the plans to go ahead and do the homeschooling. So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you, is that e-learning is not the same thing as homeschooling. So if you're struggling with e-learning, then that does not mean that you cannot homeschool. The second thing I wanted to tell you, and this is important, is check your homeschooling laws. Different states have different laws, and you need to do what your state says to do because you don't want to get any in trouble for doing what you're going to do. Okay, so check your laws. If your laws are really strict, you're gonna have to maybe make sure that your plans fit in with those laws. And if you Google or look up on Facebook, homeschooling in your state or homeschooling in your city, then you should be able to find information on what your laws are and other people who are homeschooling in your area, and be able to find out what it is you're required to do. But always check your laws, make sure you're following those. So that's the second thing, is check your laws. The third thing is, I am not a high school teacher. I do not have high school kids yet. I do not know what the rules are for high schoolers and graduating, so my advice that I'm going to offer today is not for high schoolers. It might apply. I don't know. You would have to look into what high schoolers are required for graduating in your state and make sure that you're following that if you have a high schooler. So I'm going to offer some advice, and it may or may not apply to high schoolers. I just wanted to put that out there. And then I also wanted to say, if you're not interested in homeschooling at all, if you're like, I never want to homeschool, homeschooling is horrible, I could never, ever, 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 ever do that, I can't wait for this quarantine to be done because my kids are going back to school immediately, this may not be for you. The advice that I offer is probably not for you because you're not interested in it, and that's okay. It is totally okay for you to not be a homeschooler. If that's the case, feel free to move along and watch a different video because this probably won't help you much. If you're doing e-school and you love it, and your kids are thriving, and it's perfect for you, keep going with eSchool, because that's great. If you're doing the e-learning and everybody's loving it, don't fix what isn't broken. Keep going with it. But I wanted to talk to the people who hate e-learning, as I know there's a lot of you out there that are struggling with e-learning and it's not fun and you hate it. Or if you have ever been interested in homeschooling, if you've ever thought, oh, I wonder what homeschooling is like, if you have any interest whatsoever in homeschooling, then this is the perfect opportunity to try homeschooling, right? You're being forced to do it. You have to do it. You're not taking your kids out of school to do it because they're already there. They're already at home. So, if you're interested in homeschooling, then try it. My big piece of advice is to just do it. To just jump in and do it. Because what better opportunity are you going to get to try this? So, if you are comfortable with homeschooling, if it's legal for you to homeschool, and if you're comfortable with it, then my advice is to throw the e-learning out the window. Now, like I said, if it's working great for you or if it's required in your state, do it. But if you are wanting to try and homeschool, then I have some suggestions for you on how to just jump into homeschooling easy and affordably, and just get your feet wet and figure it out and see what you want to do. Once after you get your feet wet and you figure it out a little bit, then I would suggest looking into teaching styles and learning styles. And I will try to remember to put a link in the comments. But there's quizzes that you can do on learning styles and teaching styles. So you can learn how your kids learn and you can learn how you like to teach. But that's after you get into homeschooling, because you're not going to know. You're not going to understand the questions and really know what you want to do and what your kids like until you've already tried teaching them a little bit. So the first thing, what I recommend is focus on reading, math, and writing, the 3 R's. If you know the old-fashioned vernacular on that, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, are the 3 big focuses that you want to focus on. So reading is pretty obvious. You read. If you have more than one kid, older kids can read to younger kids can read to older kids. They can read to each other while you're working with another child. That's great. If you don't have more than one kid, they can just read to you because you only have one kid. So reading, obviously you would go with your child's where they are in their reading. If they're just learning to read, I use a book called The Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. It's really simple, easy to follow book. It really is for the ordinary parents. And you just follow through the lessons. You find where your child is and you just go through the lessons, and it teaches phonics. I personally prefer to teach phonics because a lot of schools are teaching sight words now. My husband's good about it. A lot of schools are teaching sight words now. But I personally have a preference towards phonics because kids need to learn the building blocks of reading. And I found that kids will learn sight words through phonics, but you don't usually learn phonics through sight words. So that's my personal preference. If you want to do sight words, there's lots of sight words stuff out there too. Just do a quick Google on sight words and I'm sure you'll find something. But if you want to do phonics, Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading is very simple and also very affordable. I got it from the library last year. We used it for an entire year from the library. We just kept checking it out again. Oops, my camera just fell over. I've got a funny setup here, like a cup on top of a container. I'll have to post a picture of this because it's kind of funny. But obviously, it's not perfect. I don't have a phone holder to hold this. So anyways, for reading, if you've got a beginning reader, that's my suggestion. It's I got it from the library, but if your libraries are closed, our libraries are currently closed, so we can't even go to the library to get resources. Um, if your libraries are closed, you can order it online. I think I've got it. I think I got it for $5 to $8, and you might find it for 10. It's pretty cheap. And then as far as if your child is not a beginning reader, if they've already started reading, then I'm hoping most people have books in their house to read if your libraries are closed. If not, maybe talk to some friends, put out a post on Facebook. I'm sure that you can find books for your child to read that would be at their skill level. I found, so my kids are second grade and kindergarten and preschool as the ages I'm teaching. And my second grader is going through All About Reading readers, which are great. I absolutely love the readers from All About Reading. We don't do the whole program, we just do the readers. But any books, any of the emerging readers, easy to read, any books, even picture books, even the bigger books, they can be reading if you're helping them through with the bigger, harder words. So just get them reading. Focus. That's one of the biggest focuses is reading. That's the first thing that I would focus on, and just have them read every day. One page, one paragraph, whatever they're ready for. One book if they're older kids. Whatever they're ready for, have them read every day. And then, so that's number one. The second one is math. Is another big focus. And there are a lot of free, easy curriculum options for math. You just have to search your kids' grade level and math, and you can find a bunch of worksheets that you can print off. There is a website called Khan Academy, Khan Academy, and I believe it's free, and you can sign your kids up, and there's games that they can play to learn. There's lots of math games online, so if you just search your child's grade level and math, you will find a ton of resources. And if you look at their e-learning stuff, you should be able to see what they're learning, whether they're on addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions. What have they learned? What are they going to learn? If you look at that, you can see, and honestly, your e-learning packets might be helpful for math. They might have a lot of great resources in there. Math is one that schools really tend to focus on, and so there might be a lot of great stuff on there for you. But yeah, like I said, just look for it. It's out there, it's easy, and it's free, and you can find it. So the third thing to focus on, the third R, is writing. It's not really an R, it's W, but they call it 3 R's, is writing. And this is another one that's actually really easy to get in because it's writing. You just need paper and a pen, and you can do it. For younger kids who are just learning to write, there's a lot of worksheets you can find online. You can print off real easy, learning letters, learning words, whatever. There's so many worksheets. Just Google it and you'll find it. For older kids who've already know how to write, but you just want them to get them writing, journaling is awesome. You can search journaling prompts if you don't have any ideas yourself, or if your child isn't super into journaling. Just search some journaling prompts, and you just have them write out a paragraph or a page or whatever it is you think they're ready for every day. It's super easy. So those are the big focuses, and then the other two things are science and social studies. And these ones, especially if you have more than one kid, are great to do in a group. You don't have to have each kid individually doing their own science and their own social studies, because a lot of times they're just learning the same thing. It's okay. You can just do it in a group. So what I would do, again, this is really simple suggestions and really affordable. For science, what I love to do is go on YouTube and search for science videos. I'll sit down with my kids and we'll put it on the TV because we have a Roku, and we'll put on the TV the YouTube videos, and I'll just ask kids, what do you want to learn about? The other day it was how to make candy. We watched YouTube videos on how to make candy, and that's science. There's so much science involved in making candy. Just anything to learn about the world, and even going outside into your backyard or whatever, take a walk on the trails or whatever, and pick up like sticks and stuff. That's science. Learning about animals, that's science. And then also you can find so many easy, affordable experiments online. So just Google easy science experiments. You can find ones with things you already have in your house. Just do an experiment together. So like maybe one day watch a science video about something, and the next day do a science experiment that applies to that. Like we watched the video about how to make candy. The next day we could make candy. No, I'm not gonna tell you. I didn't do that because we ran out of time, but we totally could have, and it would have been awesome, and my kids would love it, and we still should. We might. So that's what I would do for science, and then for social studies, this is another easy one. Just look up. Social studies is usually history or studying something social. So if you look up history videos on YouTube, you can easily find plenty of videos to watch about history, and there's a lot of ones that are geared towards kids. YouTube is a great resource for lessons, easy, cheap lessons. And then I also did a quick Google search. I searched, what was it? Free social study games. So if you just Google free social study games, it pops up with a whole lot of things. I found 8 fun and free social studies games. Social studies games on PBS Kids. There's so many things, like it's pretty easy to find something easy and fun. Your kids could really enjoy learning about social studies and like the flags or different countries or whatever it is that they're interested in learning or you want them to learn. You can do that real easy and cheap just by searching. Google is a great resource. Like I said, if you Google your child's grade and whatever subject you're wanting to do, you will find so many resources available for you. And then one other thing I wanted to let you know about is a website called Easy Peasy. It's allinonehomeschool.com. This is what we started with when we first got started on homeschooling. It's not what we do now because it's not quite right for us for teaching and learning styles, but it is a great resource. It is a free website. If you are wanting to jump in completely on homeschooling, you want lesson plans and everything all prepared for you, and you don't want to just swing it or find different things. This Easy Peasy Homeschool is this mom put up a website. She put all of her kids' lesson plans online, including lots of free resources, free games online that connect to the different learning, different subjects, I think she's got a list of 10 different games for addition that are really fun. You might find something that your kids would enjoy, or subtraction, or multiplication, or division, or whatever other subject you can think of. She's got all sorts of free online resources on there, and what it is lesson plans per grade and broken down per day. And so if you go on there, you can find all the lessons. You can just follow her lesson plans and just do everything she does. Or you can just find the resources that you're wanting, search on her website for the resources that you're wanting. I don't have any connection to that website. We started out with it. If you're wanting to jump into homeschooling and you're like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, besides the suggestions I just gave you, that's a really great free resource to just jump in and get started. And then you can learn, and maybe you'll stick with it forever, and maybe you'll find something else that's better for you. But that's one way to do it. There's so many other ways to homeschool, so many things that you can do. But like I said, my biggest piece of advice is to just get started. Just do it. I don't think you'll regret it. This is the perfect time to try it and get your feet wet and learn something new and have fun with your kids and have fun learning. Oh, I have one more resource for you. Games. We are a huge gaming family, and we started just this year playing games with our 8-year-old and our 6-year-old, and they can jump in and play a lot of the games that we love, but also there's so many games out there for learning different subjects and stuff like that, which I'm going to try and get a series up on that because we love our games. But that's another great thing. If you have any games, if you have Uno, if you have Scrabble, Uno is great for math and number recognition and color recognition and all sorts of things. Scrabble, obviously, spelling. So there's a lot of games out there that are really simple. If you have a deck of cards, you can play games. If you have dice, you can play games, and they can learn math and different things like that. So that's another free, fun resource, and you can totally Google different ways to use those for lessons. Legos are also another great lesson. If you look up Lego schooling, there's like so much information on how to use Legos to teach different subjects, and it's a lot of fun. So make it fun. Teach your kids, ask your kids, what do you want to learn? What would you like to learn about? You would be surprised at how much kids want to learn, and they'd be thrilled to learn if you would teach them what they want to. So make it fun. Look for something that interests them. Have fun with it, and you'll just have so much fun, and you'll find that you love homeschooling. Maybe if you don't, that's great too. Because what did you lose? You already have to do this. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that. Like I said, these are my suggestions for how to just jump in on homeschooling during this quarantine. I believe in you. You can do it. Have a good night, guys. How do I turn this off?